Today's video is the celebratory Q&A video to commemorate 180,000 subscribers here at Tolarian Community College, and the timing on this could not be more perfect because the one question that I am so thrilled to be able to answer at the start of this video is whether or not Rudy at Alpha Investments is going to be okay, and the answer, if you have not already heard, is a resounding yes. I'll say no more about it because I want you to go over and hear from Rudy himself on his channel. It is an incredibly touching, heartfelt message, and it's to every one of you in the community because all of us working together are what got his channel back. What advice would you give to aspiring Magic the Gathering content creators? The best advice that I could give is simply to make content that you love, especially if you're an aspiring Magic the Gathering content creator, then you are already diving into a very focused, a very specific, and yes, a very niche market. Don't look at what others are doing and say, how can I do that myself, or how can I offer my take on this, but instead try and create content from the heart, content that you personally love. And if you make a product, a video, a vlog, a podcast, anything that you personally would sit down and enjoy, that you personally love, then that is going to be what other people gravitate towards. You said there's no way to double sleeve oversized cards, but actually Ultimate Guard makes an inner sleeve for just that. And also, Ultra Pro makes another variation of oversized sleeve that has a top-loading opening. Why didn't you mention that in your review? Yes, I know. Obviously, I made an error in my last sleeve review. Not only can you actually double sleeve oversized cards, such as the Plane Chase cards, wow, thank you, Ultimate Guard, but Ultra Pro does in fact make a glossy-backed oversized sleeve that is top-loading and not just the side-loading ones. So I guess there's always more products to review. Stay tuned. What's your advice for promoting and growing formats like Frontier or Canadian Highlander or Paper Pauper in your community and at your local game store? It's a tricky subject because in the end, I feel more than anything what these formats need is the official thumbs up from Wizards of the Coast itself, offering some form of support in the form of events at GPs, or in the form of articles on the mothership, or just in the form of a pre-constructed deck within that format to educate people to that format's existence. But until we have that, the best thing you can do, whether it's to support Frontier or Canadian Highlander, a favorite of mine, or Pauper, another favorite of mine, is simply to get games with friends at your local game store to try and spread awareness about the format, keeping deck lists, making uploads, talking about it on MTG Salvation or on Reddit at r/MagicTCG, or wherever it is that you share your love of this game with others, and to just hope that it takes off enough that Wizards of the Coast can't ignore it any longer. What's the first deck you ever brought to Friday Night Magic? My very first F&M deck was an Illusions deck back in the days of M12 and Lord of the Unreal, a original favorite of mine. That deck never did very well for me, and it wasn't until I just put together Mono Red Burn that I won my first Friday Night Magic. What's your opinion on the quality of Friday Night Magic promos that Wizards of the Coast has been offering lately? Why isn't the Magic the Amateuring podcast on the channel anymore? In case you missed the announcement on the podcast itself, Magic the Amateuring has struck off on their own to form their very own YouTube channel where the video podcasts will now be uploaded, as well as a lot of additional content from them, such as deck techs, vlogs, top 10 lists, and other fun things. This came about organically. It was something that all three of us had been talking about for some time. They wanted to produce a lot more content in addition to the video podcast, and having their own channel just seemed like the logical next step. I am still working with Megan and Maria behind the scenes. I'm still producing a lot of that content. They're still working with me in terms of a lot of the direction of things on this channel, writing jokes and other scripts like that for me. Just same sort of thing that we always did. We're just producing more. It's always a step towards more. And if you do like that content, you can go check out the Magic the Amateuring channel. I'll link it here and in the description. And to celebrate, hey, would you like to win a free box of Eternal Masters? Well, Megan and Maria are giving away a sealed booster box of Eternal Masters in just a few days. So if you check in this video's description, there will be a link for how you can enter to win that sealed box of Eternal Masters. What other Magic the Gathering YouTubers do you watch and enjoy? Well, let's see. I already talked in this very episode alone about Rudy at Alpha Investments and my friends Megan and Maria at Magic the Amateuring. So if I were to just name one channel off the top of my head that I've been enjoying a lot lately, I would say it is absolutely, strictly Better MTG. I mentioned Dev briefly at the end of one of my deck techs, and that is what he specializes in. Our deck techs, usually budget ones. I am such a fan. He is a highly underappreciated brewer and MTG rapper. So if you're looking for fun content that focuses on deck building and building on a budget, please go check out Strictly Better MTG. It's one of my many new favorite channels that is up and coming. Who's your favorite commander? Sig River Guide, no wait. Teysa, Orzhov Scion, no wait. Leovold, Emissary of Trest, no wait. Sapling of Kolfinar, no wait. Sig River Cutthroat, no wait. Send Triplets, no wait. What's your favorite Pokemon? I think I'm gonna have to say Alolan Muck. You see, Muck was always my favorite Pokemon, and I really loved the shiny Muck because he was green, and green is my personal favorite color, and the Alolan Muck, he's not just green, he's other colors, but mostly green, and also the fact that he's now a dark type, so I don't have to worry about psychic type attacks. Well, I am sold. What was the most memorable card you ever got from a booster pack? Probably most memorable would be when I sat down to my very first pre-release after returning to the game right when Innistrad was pre-released, and it was so exciting I didn't even know what Planeswalker cards were. I saw Liliana of the Veil plastered all over the boxes. I loved the artwork, and then lo and behold, the very first pack and my very first pre-release that I opened was, yep, Liliana of the Veil, and I really did freak out with excitement. Do you think Magic might die? Of course, because death comes to us all, but hopefully not for a very long time. And I feel that this idea that Magic could die, as in be gone forever, is rather ridiculous. Magic is always going to be around. People still play a lot of old games. The issue is really just in what number. I think that we are witnessing, as many have said, a kind of waning of excitement for Magic the Gathering. There's a lot of reasons for that, some of them blunders on the part of Wizards of the Coast. But regardless of why it is happening, yeah, I do think we are seeing a bit of a dip in popularity contrasted to the explosion that we witnessed for many years leading up to this point. Can that change? Absolutely. Will it kill Magic? Absolutely not. If you were to design a new product for Magic the Gathering, what would that product be or do? Haha, speaking of Magic being on the decline, yes, what would I design? I would design a pre-constructed deck for Standard in the spirit of the pre-constructed Commander decks, meaning that you could purchase it for a reasonable price and sit down and play with it right out of the box at Friday Night Magic and put up a fair fight. I would disregard prices of the secondary market. I would disregard the fact that these decks are so often made too far in advance, and I would make the changes to internal corporate policy that needed to be made in terms of when these are planned and released and what the limit on secondary market values, which they're supposed to ignore anyway, are, and just make a solid, not a top tier, but a reliable deck that can be played out of the box at Friday Night Magic for a reasonable price so that anyone who wants to sit down and play at Friday Night Magic can do so. That's kind of what we need. What are your top 4 picks for cards to be unbanned in Modern? Splinter Twin, Splinter Twin, Splinter Twin, and Splinter Twin. How do we fix Modern? Well, like I just said, I'd start by unbanning Splinter Twin. I would also bring about a Modern Pro Tour. In addition to that, I would have things such as reprints of Modern staples readily available, not necessarily tanking prices, but bringing them much more down into the realm of the affordable, especially as far as mana bases are concerned. Things like the Zendikar fetch lands perhaps being reprinted in the Return to Zendikar block. And if you're worried about all 10 fetch lands being in Standard, then space out the Return to Zendikar block so that it doesn't fall in the same time that you've reprinted the previous fetch lands. Come on, it's not rocket science. What do you like to get on your pizza? I get all of the meat. Professor, where do you buy your sweet outfits? Thrift stores and Macy's. Like this tie? $1 at a thrift store. Like this shirt? $5 at a thrift store. Like this jacket and suit? They were in the discount bin, 40% off for a discontinued line at Macy's. When's the next episode of In Response? The next episode of In Response will be coming your way soon. I'm afraid that the holidays put a bit of a delay on episode 3. Not only am I filming the next episode of In Response this week within a matter of days, but we're also going to have our very first guest debater on the show. Can you guess who it is? No, it's not that person. Guess again. With all the enthusiasm that the community has reacted to 4-color commanders this year, what are they going to be able to do to top them next year? I don't think they should be topping themselves each year. When you set yourselves up with the mentality of we've got to top what we did each and every year, you're eventually gonna burn out. I think the 4-color commanders are a bit of a sign of that. It's the thing that throughout all of Magic's history, we have only done once and just barely, and it wasn't even considered a huge success, the idea of 4-color Magic cards. But here, what are we gonna do this year? We already did Planeswalkers as commanders. We already did the Tri-color commanders, the 2-color commanders, the monocolored commanders. Well, let's do 4-color commanders. So now everyone's like, 5-color commanders, that's going to be next year. Or some other thing, the partner mechanic. Stop trying to top yourself. Just make solid quality products that are going to endure the test of time. Do you flick your cards when you play? No, not only do I not flick my cards when I play, I don't know how to flick my cards. When I filmed Kitchen Table Fables with Jimmy Wong and Josh Lee Kwai, and we had the episode The Flicker, in which I was flicking my cards, boy, oh boy, were they frustrated with me, because I could not believably do a fast flicker, and it was through many, many takes of them really losing their patience with me because I'm a klutz. I was dropping the cards. I couldn't do it elegantly, and it needed to be elegant fast flicker for the episode. So, no, I don't flick. Who flicks? Do you have any advice for Spikey Commander players in order for them to temper their sensibilities? I think that the key to an EDH playgroup is just that, the playgroup itself. There is no requirement that you are not spiky in Commander. But if you're a Spikey Commander deck, and for example, you've got that Leovold Emissary of Trest deck that's all decked out with the worst possible pain-in-the-butt combo, then don't sit down with a bunch of casual Commander players who are there with themed decks like, here's my Ravnica Commander EDH deck using only Ravnica artwork cards or something like that, and just dominate, because that's not going to be fun for you, and that's not going to be fun for them. Find other Spikey Commander players, or just build other Spikey decks for your friends to test out and play. Maybe they will be in a Spikey mood one night, and maybe you will be in a more casual Commander for fun only mood the next. It's about all the decks being balanced within the playgroup, everybody knowing what everyone else is up to and agreeing to those terms of power levels. Why do you like Merfolk as a deck so much? One of the reasons I like Merfolk so much is that it's a deck that has a little bit of everything. It's got tempo, control, aggro, it's got a fun tribal theme. I like that it is often the underdog of formats, particularly modern. It's a tough deck, but not quite tough enough to win consistently, to win a GP, although it won one earlier this year, and has put up some staggeringly good results intermittently throughout various times, and that kind of is what's fun about it. It's the underdog deck, and I've always been someone who roots for the underdogs. Should there be another way to introduce cards into Modern as opposed to just passing through Standard? No. There shouldn't even be introductions of cards into Commander through the process of anything other than Standard. It should go through Standard. All of these cards need to be put in booster packs and have to go through Standard. That way they are balanced. That way they have all originated from the same place, as it were. When you suddenly can just make cards for Modern, you go out of control. You're going to ruin the format, assuming that there's anything left to ruin. But you get my point. If you can just do whatever you want, it gets out of control fast. In Commander, I've already endlessly gone on and on about this, how the made-for-Commander cards are often too good and are replacing the regular, real Magic the Gathering cards. I know a lot of people disagree with me, but if we're going to ask that exact same question for Modern, my answer is still going to be no. Oh my God, put the cards in booster packs. How is Mike at Anime Imports doing after the robbery? He's doing okay, but the store took a huge hit from that robbery. For those of you that missed my episode talking about the robbery of my local game store and my friend, the store owner Mike, and everything that he lost, you can check it out here. I'll link it in the description. But, you know, it didn't put him out of business, but it certainly was a huge financial hit. The insurance did not cover even a fraction of what was taken from him was worth, as some people have asked in terms of, is there a way for them to shop at the store to help out? Yeah, there's a link. I'll put it in the description as well. I mean, he's not a major card seller, but he does have a nice catalog of sealed and opened product up there with, I believe, international shipping, so you can check it out. And if you are in the area, I hope to see you down there at Friday Night Magic. Professor, what is your most valuable Magic the Gathering card? I don't have particularly expensive cards in my collection. I don't have any Moxes or Power or anything like that, nor am I very interested in getting them. If I ever somehow got a hold of them, I would probably be more interested in selling them. Because I wouldn't be playing Vintage, sorry. I hear it's a lot of fun for the 3 or 4 people that play it. It's awesome. Enjoy yourself, folks. The most expensive card in my collection, probably a revised Dual Land. I don't even have full play sets of all 10 revised Dual Lands, but I do have a lot of them at this point, and I would say whatever the current most expensive revised Dual Land is, that's probably my most expensive card. Werewolves or vampires? vampires, but not the type of vampires that like murder people or anything. I mean, we drink the blood of people if we're vampires, right? So we wouldn't want to kill them. We need their blood later, right? So I'd want to be, I guess, is this the equivalent of vampires who like organic and cage-free food? Is that a thing? I'm sure there's environmentally health-conscious, food-conscious vampires in some lore somewhere. Are there hippie vampires? I guess those would be the type of vampires. What spell best describes you? I don't know if it's the spell itself that would best describe me, but definitely the art on redirect feels like me in the magic world. This is someone who has cast their fireball just to have it turn around on them, and they're just frantically running away. Ah! That's pretty much me. I'm a goof and I'm a klutz, and I'm really not that intelligent or refined or anything like that. I'm a lovable, bumbling fool, and I think that poor mage running away from his own fireball really encapsulates who I am. But if there was a card whose art encapsulates my YouTube channel, definitely 7th edition inspiration. Long-term viewers of the channel will know that this is what I used to use before I had my own logo as my icon, as I felt that look of aha, that aha moment that is happening in the card art is what the community college should be about. But I guess it's more about community, the 180,000 of all of you who have subscribed and made this channel what it is. One of the questions I keep getting asked is, what's your next goal? I don't know. What should it be? Let me know in the comments below what you think the next step or goal of this channel should be. I mean, not just 200,000 subscribers, but is there anything else that I should be putting on my radar? I'm so humbled and blessed to have everything you've given me. It feels greedy to think or want for more, but let me know in the comments what our next goal as the community college should be. And thank you, as always, for making this the Tolarian Community College, the best community I could ever ask for. And this video has been brought to you in part by a sponsorship from Card Kingdom, as well as the Patreon support of viewers like you. So thank you.